Hello, 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 robots. Now, the first term of the word robot was used by, I think it was Polish author that put it in the book, and it was meant to kind of describe device, something that helps, and it's actually a little bit like a slave. It works for you. It does all these kind of tasks that you do not want to, or you don't have time to, or are too complicated for you, heavy, let's say. So robots are ruling the world in auto industry for quite some time right now. Robots, androids, AI are ruling the world of the movies for quite some time. Damjan is coming from the ROMB Technologies, company that provides robots for warehouses. How? What? Where? Well, you know, if you have some tasks that are repetitive and I wouldn't say boring, but they are boring. You know, you have to pull something from the one shelf to another shelf, or to the truck, or to the delivery van. And would it be better to have somebody or someone or something to do that repetitive task without that little human error? Will that take some human jobs? I don't know. Let's listen to this episode. Let's listen and let's watch and let's see why still in the 21st century we are so hung up on the point that we need to have this kind of a working hours for the humans and whatnot, and robots can do this job continuously 24/7, and the humans can benefit from that. Let's check this episode out. Follow the links from the ROMB Technologies, and there will be some controversial questions there. Yeah, I know, it's me. And follow the StartUp Rant and subscribe, like, do whatever you want just to boost those numbers up, because, well, robots, AI, and algorithms are ruling the world. Or are they? Oh, well, here we go again, another Startup Rant episode, and today we have an interesting person called Damjan. Damjan? How, when you present yourself to the outside world from Croatia, in Croatia you'll be Damjan, but do you sometimes go to that like, I'm Damjan?
No, I don't have to do that. I say Damjan, but they always pronounce it Damien. And it's even worse when they see it written. They say Damjan, Damjan.
Oh, so sometimes they think you're a Chinese guy. Damjan. Oh.
Yeah, I think they're just confused. Sometimes I used to spell my name with a Y instead of a J to make it easier for English-speaking people to figure out how to pronounce it.
Yeah, it's like my last name also. I'm always Zarik wherever I go. But I leave it like that, I leave it like that. It's cool. When I'm on the airports, like, Mr. Zarik, here I am.
But Miroslav is also not the easiest one, I guess, for them to pronounce.
No, but
Miroslav.
yeah, but I love to explain, the
The meaning.
yeah, the meaning of it now. And then, like, we here in Croatia, we have like powerful names that have like a deep meaning. And then I go into the rant because, that's why this show is called Rant, Startup Rant, because I'm ranting already about everything in my life. So why not about startups? And you are a startup, I guess. You are? What are you
Yeah.
doing actually? I could say you're doing some kind of a robots, but why not me just to shut up and give you a space and place to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, after all, you get to talk on each and every episode. I just get to talk on this one, right?
Wow, yeah. Oh, you that's right. I talk in every episode. Hmm. I hope that we will talk again, not just in one episode, if you are going to be happy with this episode as a guest.
Well, that would be cool. That's why I was thinking that, like in Croatia, you are. I mean, I really like your project, and I was looking at several of your podcasts before, so it's a cool thing. I think it's definitely needed in Croatia. I was thinking that Croatia is not so big, so at some point you're just gonna run out of startups to bring onto your podcast. So what are you gonna do next? And then you can just like bring people again and see who succeeded, who failed. I think that'd be really interesting.
Excellent. That's an idea. Sure, I will do that. And it will be interesting if those who fail actually tell me how they failed so we can educate other people not to do what they did, but about doing and diding. What are you doing?
What am I doing? So we're doing like in simple, we're developing autonomous navigation technologies, and with a focus on logistics and material handling. So in simpler terms, we are writing software that enables forklifts to drive themselves. So if you have a warehouse and you need to pick up some pallets, transport them from point A to point B, and you have your workers in the warehouse who have to push the forklifts up and down all day long, we have the software that can make the forklift do it themselves. You just tell it go there, it goes there, picks up, comes back, the brings you your pallet of beer, hopefully. So
Or cask of well rested oak infused whiskey.
uh, fair enough. Hopefully that's at the end of the workday though.
Yeah, let's go with that. Yeah. Okay. So this is not like just that usual software story about startups. Like oh, here's the next WhatsApp, Facebook, whatnot. You actually have hardware that's depending on your software, and when we hear all the news in the world, robots are still not taking over the world, but something is happening there, and you are in that kind of a space and place. An important space, an important place is warehouse, which you just mentioned. Um, do you really see that as a help, or I need to be a little bit, how people say somebody will take my job. Is this something that helps people in warehouse, or it's taking um, them over, replacing them over?
Right. I mean, yeah. This is one of the questions that comes up a lot. So, I mean, I look at a robot as just another tool. So it's just first people were working the land and they were just doing using their hands. Then they developed tools. Then they started using uh, oxen or whatever to help them. Then they invented tractors, and this is just an extension of this of this path. So a robot, in this case, our forklift is just it's still a forklift. It's only a tool that's more efficient and at what it's doing. So and I mean, and it's true that it's going to bring up some changes in the work for structure in the work environment. Uh, but I mean, the upside is definitely that it will that realistically. So driving a forklift is fun to do it for 10 minutes or for half an hour. Do it all day long, like a whole shift of 8 hours. It's not a whole lot of fun. So these are jobs that are actually better left done to the robots, so that people have more time to do creative things where they need to use their brains more. But I mean, obviously, yeah, people will have to adapt and will have to educate themselves to be able to fill in all these job needs. But looking at back 200 years ago, over 90% of the population was working on farms. They were working in the fields, but you didn't have sportsmen, coaches, you didn't have the tourism industry. So these are all things. And if you ask somebody in, I know, 17 something, what are all these people going to do when we invent tractors? They would probably be scared, and they would say, I don't know what, and so, but we figure things out. So I think that in the same way, at least in the foreseeable future, we will also be able to figure things out, and that new jobs, more interesting and more fun jobs will come up.
Okay, I get that because when the first trains, steam trains, locomotives came on the scene, let's say it like that, people were afraid that they will die because it was going too fast or something like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the first cars were actually carriages with the motors on it, even electric motors on it, and they just looked like until they shift like carriage just without the horse, and people were scared of that as well. As somebody myself, I drove a forklift. I worked with that. It's uh, well, it's advanced equipment. If we are talking something comparison something with the ox or something 100 years ago, but it is a crude tool right now. And you're talking about software working with the forklift. Do you work like with existing forklifts that are already on the market, or you are actually need to have a new kind of a forklift?
We do both. So our main product is software. The software, let's say the brains behind the operation. So the software that allows the vehicle to solve the basic problems that every autonomous autonomous tool needs to solve. So it's for one is localization. It needs to know where it is in the world. It's perception. So it needs to have some sort of understanding of its environment, of the objects in its environment, and then it needs to be able to plan. Once it's know where it's going, it needs to be able to plan a path and to follow this path. And what's, let's say, challenging in this sector of logistics and material handling is that it has to be very accurate. I mean, right now you have your room. People always say, yeah, you have Roomba. Roomba is already going autonomous. What are you guys doing? It's already solved. But the thing is, like if you send a Roomba to go somewhere, it will arrive at that point with maybe plus minus 5-10 centimeters of error, which is fine for vacuuming the floor,
Yeah,
right? But if
yeah.
you need to pick up a pallet, you have to be accurate up to plus minus 5 millimeters, and this is a whole new it's a whole new level of difficulty that you need to deal with to get this kind of accuracy. So, but to get back to your question, so basically this is the core of our technology. This is what we're developing. And then we have some clients right now who they make autonomous forklifts that are built from the beginning to be autonomous. So they're like, let's say, new kind of forklifts, and also other different material transportation vehicles which are built to be autonomous. And we work with them, and we provide our software to them. But we also have done so. We have taken forklifts which are just normal manually operated forklifts. We have upgraded them with some hardware, and we put our software on top of this hardware to make them autonomous. So basically, there is a market and a use case for both of these approaches.
In one of the talks that I had with previous guests, there was a problem with the Roomba and a piece of poop. Also, I saw on the internet a problem with one guy was doing the remodeling of apartment, right? And what he did that he had to, do something with the wall, but he forgot that his Romba is scheduled to do something at a certain time, and that said Romba started to are going to be sued by Romba probably. Going to go around the apartment, and it actually stuck it go over the part of the kernel part of the little brick uh, stone. I don't know how to,
Ah, like a
and it was,
scooter.
yeah, it was going around the apartment over his wooden floors, and after it finished, the when the guy came from the work, he saw beautiful lines on the floor that he didn't want to um, upgrade or change, but now he had to. I'm doing this kind of an intro because I want to know when you say it has to be, I don't want my cask of whiskey be spilled, so I have your technology forklift going millimeters close here there, and how do you do that? What technology are you using? Can we have a little bit secret sauce what you're doing? Of course, don't share too much. You don't want people to rob you of your
Yeah, no, I could
patents.
tell you, but I would have to kill you afterwards. No,
Yeah, yeah.
stuff like that.
Not
So
just me. People are listening to this, so you
everybody who
have
is listening, yeah.
there will be lots of killing, and we don't want to that because it will be counterproductive if I'm trying to say that robots are not taking over the world and killing people like Terminators. Or are you a Terminator? Are you a robot?
This is the moment where my light, where my eye
Yeah, yeah.
starts
Please
blinking
look
red.
at the camera more closely. Okay, back to the topic. Any kind of technology, we already know, how kind of lidar, Bluetooth. There is also Wi-Fi. In this case, that probably doesn't work. Maybe lidar works, but you have your patents. You have something that you are like really protective of. But this is something that you actually are selling as you know you are the company that doing this, and that's it, right?
Yeah, right. So the main, when we're talking about the sensors, the main sensor we are relying on now is LiDAR. And there is different types of LiDAR on the market now. The ones that we're working with mostly are 2D LiDAR. So they scan the environment in a plane in 2 dimensions. And
Okay.
based on this, you can make a map of the environment. You you scan the environment, then as you move you keep scanning the environment, and you need to keep matching these scans one against each other, and this way you can make a map of the environment, and then like a 2D map, like a floor plan, and then you can localize yourself very accurately on this floor plan. So this is one of our, let's say, secret sauces, one of the things that we've been working on and developing for years and years at the university, is how to make this map accurate enough so that you can achieve the accuracy required to manipulate the objects, etc. So this is, let's say, one of our key technologies. Also, something that we have that several companies have started looking into and using recently, and especially, for instance, in Croatia, there is Gideon Brothers, who are some of the pioneers in applying this in the industrial sector, is camera. So using vision, either monocular or stereo vision, to be able to get a much richer representation, much more information out of the environment. And so we are also doing some. We have actually partnered with the University of Zagreb through a really cool program by Hamak Bikiro and the Ministry of Ministarstvo gospodarstva. It's Ministry of Trade. I know.
Yeah, Minister of
Anyway,
Trade. Yeah,
yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
And which is called innovation vouchers, which actually uh, was funds part of the. So if you want to, let's say, hire the university to help you develop something and to do some technology transfer, uh, obviously you'll need to pay that to the university, and this program funds part of these costs. So it was a really good opportunity for us to get, let's say, a jump started in this really exciting field of AI and deep learning powered machine vision.
That's cool. So tell me, let's say there is a warehouse right now. There is a warehouse right now with your technology and everything inside. And if I step by accident into that warehouse, will the forklift see me or just run over me?
Hopefully, it will not run you over. No, and there is a very, let's say, strict regulations about it, and also there is very uh, well-defined safety procedures and also safety hardware that you need to use on your forklift to make it safe. Specifically, again, let's say today's safety technology is based on lidars. So you have lidar sensors, but then a specific kind which is tested more rigorously, and it needs to be integrated in the system in a little bit different, in a more simple and verifiable way. So if the vehicle sees something in its path which it knows it shouldn't be there, or which is just too close, it will just stop. It will first slow down and then it will stop. And then at that point, it's where then the maybe that the machine vision and camera based software can kick in, and it can see. So the vehicle will first stop to be on the safe side, right? And then based on the camera image, it will be able to tell, is this a person or is this an object? So do I just like keep waiting until this thing moves away? If it's a person, it's probably going to move away. I'm just not going to move anyways. If it's an object, maybe I will try planning my path around it, so not to keep wasting time and waiting here. So there is then
Yeah, because it already knows the floor plan. So if something is just standing there for a particular point of 10 minutes, I'm just going to go around it, right?
yeah,
Okay,
exactly,
okay,
exactly. We can
okay.
plan around.
One question that's popped into my mind right now when you're talking about all of this was that when you think about it, well, for me, who is not in that kind of a business, and I'm just trying to understand everything. Let's say I have a big warehouse and there are like 10, 15, I don't know how many forklifts, but is that software running on its own on each and every forklift, or is actually reporting to the center position somewhere? If it's a secret, just say it's a secret and we move on.
No, it's no secret. It's actually a very good question. It's actually a question that, let's say that maybe we haven't reached the right answer or the best answer to it yet. So there is one part of the software that obviously needs to run on the vehicle, right? The part of the software that needs to react quickly to the situation. Then there is another part of the software that needs to know, let's say, like it's called warehouse management system, usually WMS, which knows, let's say, the high level jobs that the forklifts are supposed to do. It knows, now there is a new truck unloading at unloading bay A, and this stuff needs to be taken to these and these storage shelves. So this system takes care of that and sends this information to the vehicles. But what's actually a very, very interesting part of the whole thing, also from a research perspective and from a robotics perspective, is happening in between these two layers. So the layer of the vehicle which plans its path and executes its mission, and the warehouse management system which just gives high level missions. For instance, okay, you said 10 forklifts. Which forklift is going to take over which mission, and in which sequence of missions they're going to accomplish this, etc. This is something that is a super hard and super interesting problem, mathematically speaking. It's also very interesting to look at if there is still this just going to be one entity which is going to then give the micro these micro missions to the vehicles, or are the vehicles somehow going to talk and agree among themselves who is going to do which part? No, they're going to say, no, let me do this. Oh, I'm closer, I'll do this part. If they're going to work as a team, or if there's just going to be a manager who's going to say, you go there, you go there.
Yeah, like a foreman. There's a center
Yeah,
figure
exactly.
who is going to say, like, you know what, man, John, go and pick up that cart there and do that, and he will say, no, I need to go there because that was already on my schedule. And he will say, no, you have to do that. And he will say, I'm in the union, I have a representative, I'm not going to do that.
Right,
Joking
right.
a little bit, but yeah, I understand that. So there's two layers, right? One high level that like knows everything that's happening, and that probably is prone to that. If truck is coming 5 minutes late or 5 minutes early, or half hour late or early, it will inform the forklift to go to the docking bay A, B, C, D, whatnot, if something changes, right? That's cool. That's cool.
You can say you guys there is the truck is half an hour late. You guys can go for a smoke and come back. Huh?
Then you see like five forklifts just hanging around on the deck seven, because that's the deck that's most away from the management, and they're just like sitting there and like, oh man, it was a really hard day today, you know.
Just chilling, talking about yesterday's football game.
Yeah. Did you watch that? I don't know, man. I probably would play that better. Yeah, he was so wrong. Oh, by the way, did your grandma send you some snaps today? Oh, yeah. But we're gonna do that after the track comes. Okay, or maybe not.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, there is strict no alcohol rules in warehouses, so
Yeah, but that extends to the forklifts. You know, what about viruses? Can we hack this? Serious question, man. Is this
yeah,
hackable?
this is a good question actually. But let's say the security of industrial software is a big it's a big topic, and it's yeah, something, that so a lot of these systems are, let's say, not easily accessible, so you can't just connect to
Yeah,
the internet
it's like
and
a
just,
closed system, right?
it's a closed, like it's a closed network. But this is, I mean, but and so far a lot of companies have been relying on that, but you, as things develop, you can't keep relying on that. That's kind of security by obscurity, which is not the right approach. So there is, I mean, but then again, here we can rely on this whole years and years of research and development in the internet, in the banking sector, like the secure communication protocols, which we need to implement. And this is being, let's say, implemented to varying degrees in industrial systems.
Yeah, warehouses. People don't maybe know about warehouses so much. They think that's just like a big space where items are. But sometimes what happens is, let's say there is an accident, and then you need to reroute the truck, right? It cannot go to the uh, intentioned warehouse because of yada yada yada. But it has items and that can be stored in the warehouse B, C, doesn't matter. So, people will be informed, foreman will be informed, people will be waiting for that. They will know that they need to unload the truck because the truck has to go somewhere. It's just unloading
Right?
help stuff there, and it just has to go to Poland right now. Doesn't matter. So, is that something in that case, you have phones, you have people communicating, but in this case, do you have like let's say the company has a few warehouses now, the main guy somewhere says, you know what, we need to reroute this to warehouse B, we need to get their forklifts ready for that. Can he like override what they're doing right now and just send them that? That's asking because of the security question, because if he can do that, somebody else can do that as well.
Well, so this is more, I mean, what you've been talking about now is happening more at this higher level of the warehouse management system. So this is like a part that we're not developing ourselves. So there is a lot of companies making warehouse management systems, and we just like then interface our software to these systems. So this is something that would be made, the decisions about this would be made at the WMS level.
Okay, and that's like leading right now to the question that I need to ask, like, is this a hot water? Is this something that you invented yourself and nobody in the whole wide world ever invented before? Or you're just actually working in the space and place which is beautiful, that already has a need for it, and you're just providing a little bit difference or a little bit more advanced technology for something?
Is this the provocative question?
No, we are still, yeah,
Too
people
far
don't
away
know
from
this.
that. Okay.
No, people still don't know. He's actually waiting for provocative question. Maybe there is not one. Maybe the provocative question is the waiting for provocative question. No, this is not the provocative question yet. Maybe it's
Okay.
provocative, but not the provocative question.
But okay, fair enough, fair enough. Okay, so the question was, are we inventing hot water, or does there? So no, obviously there is a huge market and huge interest for this. So for robotics technologies in general, and especially for the logistics sector, for the warehousing market. The reason for that is, in my opinion, because right now the need, and there is a big need in the logistics sector, because as the economy is getting more globalized, and things are being shipped all over the world more and more intensively, it just like puts tremendous pressure on the logistics sector. And so they have a shortage of people, and they have like, people usually don't want to work. I mean, job in a warehouse is not a very attractive job normally, so people don't want, so they have at the same time rising requirements, less and less workforce. So there is definitely a huge need. And then the technology level right now is at the level where where, let's say, the robotics technologies can really provide very viable and very useful solutions to these to the problems that the logistics industry is facing. And so here we're, let's say, taking advantage of the fact that still, I mean, warehouse, there is a great diversity and a lot of unpredictability still in warehouses, but it's really little unpredictability compared to what a self-driving car can experience in the street. And so, and right now it seems that the robotics technology is really ripe to solve the problems of the logistics sectors. And that's why there are a lot of companies there. I'm keeping track of like companies which are fall in the category like potential customers or competition, or like companies in the same area, like providing different flavors of autonomous solutions for logistics. There is hundreds of companies in the world, and a lot of these companies are attracting really uh, good investments. Also now recently, just 2 or 3 weeks ago, Gideon Brothers got a huge investment, over $30 million for being active in this area. So it's definitely a hot area, and a very attractive market at the moment. So a booming market. Uh, and obviously, there is no really big secrets in the sense of the technologies, the sensing technologies that are there. Definitely the vision based, or the deep learning powered visual perception is a game changer that's entering the market. But I think now there is so much research that has been done in mobile robotics. Everybody is more or less, uh, let's say, has the same starting position more or less. But then it's always about for me, it's about the details, about the execution, about the just engineering creativity, where you can make some tweaks, or adapt the algorithm to a specific problem to make it more efficient, more effective. And 10% more effectiveness in a system like that is a huge
One percent
improvement.
is a huge, if you ask me.
Exactly. We're talking about millions of dollars. No, and here
Yeah.
I feel that we have been able to uh, to make some contributions. So we right now have a patent application which has been positively evaluated by the European Patent Office, which means that it's novel, that it's industrial applicable, and that it's innovative. So there is space to just like bring your engineering creativity and make something which is just going to work maybe 1% or 5% or 10% better than the competing offering, and this is going to make a difference and in your market. And then there is the second thing, that right now it just the market need is so big that uh, it's hard for companies to satisfy this market need. Because still, even if you had now, let's say a warehouse says we need 10 forklifts, and even if you have these 10 forklifts right now, you still need to have people who are experts, who are going to commission these forklifts, so who are going uh, to make all the, let's say, preparation activities, so that these forklifts can operate in the environment. If we're talking about, you need to like drive them around and acquire enough data to improve your machine learning algorithms, to tune them for this specific environment. You need to make a map of the environment. So there is a lot of things you need to do, and it's a lot of work. So also let's say, contributions, or one of our selling points is that our technology lowers this setup time. So instead of maybe taking
Mm.
3 weeks to set
Hmm.
up a big warehouse, maybe you can do it in 2 weeks, and this is also huge. So this is also one of the, let's say, areas that we're trying to bring improvements to.
You know, and that actually, time means money. Money flies and makes the world go around. And when you talk about that kind of, if you can provide a service that kind of like trim that, like in a 2 weeks or something like that, that you can provide something to be enforced or actually implemented in lower time, that means lower costs. That's cool. One question about the warehouses. You mentioned the Gideon brothers, and whenever I was trying to find out what's happening in the world in this kind of, you know,
Mhm.
uh, robotic sense, I couldn't find, or maybe I didn't look that much because I was more focused on what you guys do. So I wanted to see how you're faring. Uh, are there anybody, or do you plan to go into the outside world? I mean, not just warehouses. I mean, like shipment or something like that. Those ship containers, or when the train comes, somebody is doing that. It's always the kind of a forklifts or kind of a big cranes or something like that. Is there somebody who is like in that space, or do you see yourself maybe in that space?
There are a lot of companies also in that space. I okay I Yeah, I mean, so I couldn't, like, can't name you any of the top of my head right now, like their
Okay.
names, but yeah, they're.
I'm asking just because Croatia is a seafaring nation as well, and we have big ports or something like that. So I'm just like, you guys should do something there.
Yeah, no, no, there is definitely a lot of interest there, and also a lot of companies, and I mean, there is also some ports, like some big ports, like the port of Rotterdam has been very automated for around 10 or 20 for 20 or more years. A lot of their processes are just being handled automatically, as far as container loading and unloading goes. These are some processes that are, where you can just afford to put huge machines, which are just going to do a repetitive process, and automate that. So yeah, there is definitely a lot of interest there, but we have to take it one step at a time. Where first we conquer the warehouse, then we go outside to the outside world.
From the darkness emerges Damien. Uh, okay, so you have to do all of this. You have employees in your company. You have bills to pay. You have walls to paint. You have stuff to do. From is that all from the like selling the software and everything, hardware, or you got some kind of funding going on there as a startup?
Yeah, so both. Right now we are mostly self-funded, funded for so we have a combination of, let's say, custom development, and also some first licenses that we're selling to our clients. And in the past two 2.5 years of the company, over 50% of our revenue came of our, let's say, expenses were covered directly from our revenues, and this is going to be even more in this year. And but we also got several. We're, yeah, fortunate enough to have gotten several grants so far, national grants administered by Hamak Bikra. We got a proof of concept grant, which was the first, let's say, our first grant just as the company started. Actually, we applied for it before even having founded the company, and now we also had a grant in within this innovations of newly founded SMEs, which we just successfully completed a couple of months ago, which was also a huge boost. It allowed us also to brand our wall, our office wall, but also develop our web page, also prepare our product launch, also customize our products to the needs of the market, etc. So yeah, we so far we have relied a lot of on this on public funds.
Okay, man. Listen, we talked about all kind of stuff, but right now we're gonna talk about provocative question.
So this is it.
This is it. This is where all is coming to. Are you ready?
Let's see.
Why did you name, or whoever was the trust of brainees in the beginning, your company ROMB Technologies? This is the first part of the provocative question.
Okay, so but ROMB actually it started by being short from robotics and mobility. So we actually and then when you said like a trust of brains, it was really we had like uh, five PhDs, like the of the six founders, we have five PhDs and two university professors. So it was a pretty big trust of brains, that came up with this. And so, anyways, yeah, but so for first it was short for robotics and mobility, and actually for a while the company was spelled capital RO and capital MB. So but then as we're talking to the designers when they were designing with the logo, they said, guys, you need to simplify that. This is and ROMB is a it's also it's kind of a cool, let's say it's an international word. It has it's a visual thing. So just say ROMB Technologies, you'll build your brand. No, it doesn't matter. You will know that it started as robotics and mobility. It's going to be, but so that's how ROMB Technologies came to be. It's a little bit difficult to pronounce. It's a little bit, yeah, but otherwise I think I like it so far. It's served us well.
Okay, are you ready for the second part?
All right, bring it on. Now I'm
You
warmed up. I think I'm ready, but let's see.
you do know your logo is square.
No, it's not. It's wrong. It's tilted.
A little bit tilted.
Well, it's tilted enough to be a rhomb. It's
Uh,
like the.
I, I don't know. Maybe it should be tilted a little bit more.
You have to talk to designers about this. They're not going to be happy about this. But this was a pretty. I didn't expect this. This was kind of a below the belt shot.
I said provocative question.
This is good. I didn't expect this.
If I offended you, I'm sorry.
No, because I still meant I still hold my position that it's not
No,
square.
yeah,
But
yeah. I
we'll
know
just
it's
agree
not
to
square.
disagree.
I know it's not square, but like dear listeners and viewers, it actually is a romp. But I had to make a joke a little bit because when I saw you guys doing your office, because I'm near, and I was like, oh, cool, because it's romp, right? And then I saw you right now in the beginning. And I saw on the video it's a little bit more square than I actually saw it there. Like, and I was like, I'm gonna make a little bit fun of this just to have a little bit smiles here.
Yeah, I think it depends on the also perspective because my
Yeah,
camera is tilted a little bit. So
yeah,
yeah. It strained it up a little bit.
cool. So, do you have any big plans coming up? Are we gonna see you on maybe more important shows than mine, like conquering the warehouses and things like that?
Well, I mean, so far we're happy. I think I'm pretty happy being on your show, and so we have chosen this path of, let's say, organic growth where we're growing. Not going for a big investment and like but just like building our team step by step and building our product and our market presence, which is we'll see. For so far, I think it's been working quite well for us. It's something that also like I as the CEO of the company feel comfortable with, and it's so let's so far it's working out for us, and let's see where it takes us. Obviously we definitely want to our, like, let's say in the short term right now, where most of our revenue is still custom development. So we're like working kind of as an agency, but in this really specific area that we are focused on. And we want to transition to having more and more of our revenue coming from licenses. This is, let's say, the next big step for us. And once we succeed in that, I think we're going to be in a really good position because we're going to have, because right now, I mean, this is working this way, working like on projects is it's interesting and challenging, but you ever it's not really scalable, whereas once you start selling licenses, it becomes scalable. So this is our next milestone.
Cool. On that point, to end the conversation on a kind of advicey stuff, you know, uh, I'm also the founder of co-founder of a startup and everything, and all the pain and a little bit gain in the beginning can drive people crazy. And do you think that startups or even starting a company is for everyone, or uh, actually, what's your opinion on that? Should people just go blindly into something, or actually develop a plan and think really hard? Is this for them?
Well, I think the best advice I heard on this topic was just before starting. I mean, I had this idea. I was working with the university, and I've had this idea for a while that I want to start a company. And then as I felt that these things are, so I had this idea, which was kind of like getting ready, ripening in my mind for several years, and then I started researching a little bit, reading, also trying to educate myself, because I knew more about robotics, but I didn't know anything about startups, about companies, etc. And then there is actually quite a famous course. I think it's from Stanford. It's like Entrepreneurship 101 or something. It's like one of the like things, like must see things for
Yeah,
if
yeah.
you're thinking about. And on that, I think there they the one I think one maybe one of the speakers they invited says that you know so if you want to make money, I mean, you can make a lot of money in a startup, but like a very small percentage does that. But if you want to make money, there is better and safer. It's better to go to work for a big company, because it's a much safer bet. If you want to uh, have independence, there is also maybe easier path to take. So, but the real reason that you should be motivated by is just if when you think about it and you think this is something I have to do, it's kind of hard to explain maybe to somebody who hasn't felt it. But it's kind of, no, I'm not going to be cheesy and say it's like being in love, it's like, but it's a, but
Well,
it's
it is like being in love. You have like those beautiful butterflies and actually a beautiful pain in your stomach doing your startup, and you want to throw up here and there, and you're scared to talk with people and to her.
yeah. That's true. So basically, no, you really need to. I mean, you need to have this like urge and thinking about it, that thinking that this is the right thing to do. I think this is the most important. For me, this has been the most important, because like also people say, it's the hardest thing that you're ever gonna do, and when you hear something like that, it's kind of, it's supposed to scare you, but then it doesn't, because you know it's kind of abstract, so you don't know. And so I would say, I mean, it is hard, but in a good way. So I mean, I could say, yeah, it's the hardest thing that I've ever done, but it doesn't make it. I mean, uh, it never makes me regret for having done it. It just means that you really need to want to know. I think if you are like make going into a startup because you think it's cool, or because you don't know, have anything better to do, or because you want to get rich, I think these motivations are gonna run out pretty quickly. Whereas if you have this like motivation, like this is something I really need to do, that's gonna that can fuel you through also through the the harder times and all the challenges.
Sometimes when I think about all of this, like in the movies, those AAA meetings, my name is
Yeah.
Miroslav and I've been alcoholic from, sometimes I think like there will be kind of a meetup group where I will come there and say, hi, I'm Miroslav and I was a startup co-founder, and everybody will and I didn't start any startup for the last 5 days. It's addiction sometimes, you want to like every day spend here, which is, I think that's actually, for me, that's the difference between a regular job and this job. It's some kind of a, you're looking forward to every day, as much as sometimes it pains you to be there and doing what you're doing. But you're not scared about stuff. You have robots on your side, so you're good. Damien, thank you for this talk, and I hope in a few months we talk again and see where are you, how many warehouses in the Europe you conquered, and how many shipyards you are conquering.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me. It was a really fun conversation, and yeah, I hope to be able to be your guest soon.
Excellent. Thank you, man.
Right. Good luck.
Bye.
Thank you. Take care.